Good morning, wherever you are. It's time for the Monday Minute with the Poppy of the Paranormal. I'm Kristen Paul. I hope you all had a great weekend. It got, I don't want to say cold, but it's low 40s here right now. It was around 70 yesterday. What the hell? Of course, we have Jan with us, as always. What are we going to talk about today? We got a few things to cover today that I wanted to touch on. First thing I wanted to hit upon is Sanctum of Souls, Calvary Lutheran Church, Buffalo, Iowa. This is a location that has just kept on giving, kept on producing, shall we say, and from various parts of the building. You know, when I say church, it probably gives a little bit of the wrong idea, because this church, built back in the 1800s, has been added onto, then added onto, then added onto, then added onto, then added onto, numerous times over the last, 150 years or whatever it's been. And we have had ITC in various parts of this building, newer parts of this building, both male and female. We do have some clips up on the channel. You can link them through the page. Please give them a look, give them a like, give them a sub, give them a comment. That all plays into that Google algorithm. Help us spread the word. Obviously, you're looking at a different background today. That's because I have retired from the shop. And I'm not quite sure what kind of setup I'm going to use. I was thinking of getting a backdrop. Kind of like, not the same picture, obviously, but kind of like the setup that Bishop Long has got on his Friday night show. All right, where are we going to go from here? Two things I wanted to touch on today. First off, we're gonna start getting into some other things. There is more Sanctum of Soul to review, but I don't want to saturate the page with post after post from that location. I think I've got 5 or 6 in a row right now. Enjoy those, but let's get into some other things. You know, I was recently in Key West, Florida. Today, about 10:30 CST, another, let me rephrase it, a different kind of clip will come up on the YouTube channel from Fort Jefferson, Dry Tortuga, Florida. Now, there was never a battle at this fort, but many people did die of yellow fever, including children, because officers in particular that were stationed there oftentimes did have their families with them. So check that out. That is going to be a location that I think is gonna give us a little bit. You know, I walked all the parts of the grounds that I had access to. Now, there was some storm damage from that hurricane that blew through, what was that, 2 years ago now, 3 years ago now? The same hurricane that wiped out the town of Fort Myers Beach. Good morning, Tom. So anyway, we're going to start working that a little bit. Then, something a little different, something that I have not encountered before. I find this very interesting. You often hear us talking about our body cams, which have been absolutely fantastic in picking up EVP. And the simple fact that they have been very reliable and have done many, many captures, but a very amazing thing happened. I discovered it last night. So let me paint you a little picture here. Now, I'm gonna hinge back to Key West here. This is at Fort Martello. This is the place that has the museum that has Robert the Doll. Now, if you're into Para, you know who Robert the Doll is. I don't know who's more popular, Robert the Doll or Annabelle. I don't know. Been involved with both of them. Anyway, I'll tell you the thing that happened. Let me paint you a picture here. In the middle of the fort, there's a citadel. There is kind of a basement level. There is, I guess for lack of a better term, like a second floor level and then a roof level. Now, going into the backdrop, I did a spirit session in the second floor level. It was very interesting from the standpoint of, as I was in there alone. I saw something out of my peripheral. I turned and I actually said, hey, I saw you. I can prove it on the body cam footage. Although the body cam, I wasn't facing the right way for the body cam to pick up what I saw. But within about a minute of seeing that, I was engulfed by a cold breeze on a very warm night in Key West. It was mid-80s. Oh, and by the way, the dew point was also mid-80s. Okay. But what I want to talk about is the lower level of the Citadel. Now, we were in the grounds. My wife was along on this trip, which is a rarity. But we were going to go into the basement of the Citadel and trying to do some ITC in the basement. Okay. Now, if you know anything about that area of Florida, rain is a real common thing. Well, actually in all of South Florida, really. But rain is common. It can rain daily. But the difference is down there, rains for 20 minutes, the sun comes out, dries it up, and it's not a thing like a Midwest thunderstorm scenario. Generally. Not always, but generally. To go into the lower level of the Citadel, there's actually a ramp that you walk down. And I was going down there, and I stopped at the bottom of the ramp because it looked a little wet. Well, I kind of tapped my foot on the lower level. Well, it was about, I didn't measure it now, 1.5 inches, 2 inches of standing water in the basement. No. I wasn't about to walk around in wet Skechers for the next 3 days from walking in this basement. So what did we do? Well, I thought I'm as far as I'm going to go. Let's break out the DR60 and see if we can get some responses. So, you know, if you could picture this, I'm wearing a body cam. I have a full spectrum camera in my left hand. I have the DR60 in my right hand. I'm going through a few questions. As I go through the questions, I am getting 0 answers. Nothing. Not a thing. That is not really a norm for us on the DR60. We usually get something. You can't always understand it. It's definitely a lot of times things have got to be amplified or whatever, which is okay. But nothing going on the DR60. So I'm listening to this body cam clip, and you can kind of see the top edge of the DR60 at times, and you could tell my left hand is holding something. Well, that is the full spectrum camera. What I found amazing was that the body cam picked up something while the DR60 was going that the DR60 did not pick up. Pretty unusual scenario, because I've worked that combination 1,000,000 times. But the DR60 picked up nothing. It was my final question before we were leaving the ramp to go downstairs. And almost like a whisper, I heard a voice, sound like a female voice. Now, understand, Fort Martello, just like Fort Jefferson, there was never any battles there. But there was yellow fever there. Okay, so oftentimes officers did have their families living with them. So could it have been, the wife of the commandant or the colonel or, whatever. Who knows? Or was I just getting played? Who knows? But I did get a comment. Good morning, Jamie. Where the hell was I here? Jamie, you had me lose track here. Good to see you, too. Good to hear from you. Anyway, I did get a response. Now, keep in mind, when I review, I'm wearing headphones. Everything's on computer. I slow things up. I slow things, make things faster, make things slower, change frequencies, this, to try to bring it out so at least you can hear it in a clip. Because I do realize a lot of people watch clips on their phone, so you really don't get the full benefit of the clip. I get that. So I amped it up a little bit. That will be coming up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. Okay, I've got it set for release at 10:30 a.m. CST tomorrow. A very appropriate answer for the question that I was asking. Okay. Not going to say what it is. You're going to have to watch the clip. I will link it to the page shortly after the release. So if you're on the page, you could just click the link on the page. That'll take you right to it. Once again, please like, please subscribe, please comment. It just helps that algorithm out so much. It do I always agree with that algorithm? Oh hell no. But interesting capture. Very interesting capture. After we had finished that, we had gotten out of there and went to another area of the fort. But there definitely are things in that citadel. Okay, and I will be reviewing more of that as time goes. Review never stops. Winter's coming up. Uh, we have two more things coming. We have one private thing coming up this weekend. A church. I'm not gonna give any names or any locations here. I don't want every teenager within 50 miles causing problems for this church, because this particular church is a church that's still in operation. This is not a church that's been closed down, so we're really looking forward to doing that. So it'll be interesting. Saturday night, we're going to find out just what's going on over there. See if we can help this client out. I really do appreciate these private cases that we get. It says a lot to me about our credibility. Spit that out. Maybe Jan can help me out in that for a minute. Give me a second here. So stay tuned for updates on that. Then after that, what do we got going on? It's getting toward the end of the year. End of October is approaching real quickly. And what happens at the end of October, early November? What do we do at that time of the year? Thank you, Jamie. What do we do at that time of the year? It's time for the Western Swing. This year, in the last couple of years, I've headed into Arizona. I don't know if you caught it on the news a little while ago. Globe, Arizona. Massive flooding in Globe, Miami. Globe is one city. Miami is a little town like right next to it. I don't know if it would be considered a suburb. Not really. Excuse me. But bad flooding. Gila County Jail is there. The Elks Lodge is there. Lot of places to explore there if you're ever in that area. My pal Vinny gets you in. Very reasonable cost too. Very reasonable cost. And Vinny usually brings a whole bunch of equipment with him, so when I go out, I have my equipment. At least the equipment I can take on a plane. And then if I feel like borrowing a piece of his, I do, and it works out good. And I've done a few places under his supervision, I guess, for lack of a better word. Anyway, the Western Swing. This year, we are heading back northwest. We will be going through the one and only Goldfield, Nevada. Now, I have been to Goldfield many times. If you're into Para and you don't know what Goldfield is, then you're really not into Para. What's in Goldfield? We have the Goldfield Hotel. We have the Goldfield High School. We have the Goldfield Cemetery. And a few other locations that just keep on giving. You know, before Red had passed, for those of you who don't, who's Red? Okay, Red was the owner of the Goldfield Hotel. He just died a couple years ago. Pretty recently, though. His son currently owns the hotel. He was starting to do some things in the hotel, kind of like refurbishing some things. Give you an example. If you saw the initial, very first episode of Ghost Adventures, before it was a show, it was just the pilot. The one where Nick and Zach are in the basement and that brick came floating by, okay? And Nick booked and left Zach down there. That whole area has been cleaned out and drywalled. Why? Goldfield just does not have much of an infrastructure to it at all. The times that I've been through Goldfield, there's not even a place to buy gas in Goldfield. But the hotel has been good. If you're going through Goldfield and you're thinking, well, I can't get into the hotel, I'm going to tell you something. I have caught an EVPs right on the front stoop of the hotel and just walking in front of the hotel. I've captured several EVPs over the years. Another place, if you're going to go through Goldfield High School. Now, I have been through the high school with Jerry. Jerry is a local that gave us a tour of the high school. Of course, I was recording the whole time. This is already, got to be 5 years ago, maybe longer than that. There is a video up on the channel. If you're interested in Goldfield High School, check out that video. Okay. Interesting things came up in the video. Also, some things came up in some of the stills. Definitely worth checking out. The audio quality could be better. I will admit that it was a little bit older of a technology back then. We're slowly making improvements on that. But watch that video. It's Jamie, no you don't. Seriously. But I do appreciate that. I do. I really do. Anyway, all right, Goldfield High School. And then there's the Goldfield Cemetery. Another place where I have visited. I must have been there at least 10 times by now. Have captured many EVPs in that cemetery. And a lot of them right in the afternoon. Okay, if you're really into para, it don't have to be dark out. If it's haunted at night, trust me, it's haunted in the day. Okay? Now, I have been in Goldfield Cemetery at night, at dark 30. From going to Goldfield, we had termed a term. That term is Nevada Dark. Because when you're out in the desert, when there's no moon, especially if it's a cloudy night. It is dark. Now, where I live, yeah, it's dark. You look out, you look down the street, there's house lights on, there's street lights. There ain't none of that when you're out in the desert. It is black. Anyway, let's move on from Goldfield, north of Goldfield, Tonopah. And now I haven't even touched on the Western Swing location yet, so bear with me. I'm just giving you all kind of backstory for the Western Swing here. Okay. About roughly 30 miles up the highway, Highway 95, is Tonopah, Nevada. What's in Tonopah? The Mizpah Hotel that I have stayed in a few times, have done sessions in a few times. There's the Clown Motel. Everybody knows the Clown Motel. Scroll back through the page. There are several pictures of me with the Clown Motel sign in the background. Right next to the Clown Motel is the Tonopah Cemetery. Now, the first time I was there, the way it's laid out, I wasn't sure if anybody could just walk into the cemetery or not, because it almost has a look, at least it did to me, that it was like on private property. So I went into the Clown Motel, talked to the owner. I forget his name, but if you've seen the Ghost Adventures episode, he is in that episode. That's the guy that I talked to. Nice guy. He said, "You want to take any pictures, any of the stuff in here? You're good, because they got a million clowns in that front office there." At the time, I did not have a whole lot of interest there. Clowns are just kind of, kind of creepy to me. I don't know. Ain't that big of a deal to me. But the one that like moved, he's in there. He is in there. So if you're in Tonopah, you got to stop in. Anyway, where am I going with this story? I'm on a tangent again here. I asked him, "Is it okay to go in the cemetery?" He said, "Oh yeah, that's county property. Anybody can go in there. You don't have to ask me." Oh, didn't know. Did not know, because the way it's set up, it kind of looks like it's all one and the same, but it's not. Okay, now we're going to head north out of Tonopah, and that's where this year's Western Swing will transpire. 2 locations, well, technically 3 locations that I plan on hitting on the Western Swing this year. And who knows what I just may come across on the road. Dayton, Nevada. What's in Dayton? The Union Hotel, which from what I understand now is a private residence. But you know me, I'll work it right out on their front porch, see if anything goes on. You know that. The Sutro Tunnels. That's in Dayton. Where's Dayton? Dayton is reasonably close to Virginia City. If you've watched the channel, you know I've been to Virginia City a few times. Rome. That's the original video. I can't say that either. Was it the Silver Queen or was it the Jerome? I'm trying to figure which hotel was the first production on a Roam the Halls. But Silver Queen, haunted. I've been in Piper's Opera House, haunted. The school, haunted. The Art Center, haunted. The cemetery, haunted. Bip, 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 bip. You see where I'm going here? All right. But there's one more location that I'm going to hit. It took a little bit of begging, pleading, finagling, because after Halloween, they shut this location down. And I'll be honest with you, I am not big on doing investigations in locations with a whole bunch of Halloween decorations around. I find it distracting, but that's just me. So where am I going to go? I'm going to give you a hint. It's in Carson City, Nevada. Any takers? I'm going to lay it on you. The Nevada State Penitentiary, Carson City, Nevada. I have got that booked. I will, I'd like to say I'm going to go live from there, but prisons in general don't make for good cellular connections. They just don't. But that's going to be this year's Western Swing. Dayton and the prison in Carson City. So that's what we got for today on the Monday Minute. Be good to each other. Hey, we're all we got. Please, be good to each other. Get on the channel, please. Give us a like, give us a sub, give us a comment. I know you're watching. I can see the watch count. But to get a like or a sub or a comment, come on. Do an old guy a favor here. Help the channel grow. Help get us out there. We need you to do that to make that happen. And I do appreciate you. I really do. Anyway, that's been the Monday Minute. You know how we end it. Peace out.